All right, we're making our way down to the floor now. Make sure you take a pillow and your stretching strap with you, or something that you can assist your stretches with. It could be a belt, it could be a big resistance band, even a towel looped over. I'll show you how we're gonna use that stretching strap when we get there. We're gonna start in an all fours position, as you see Risa here. Your all fours position starts with your hands directly below your shoulders and your knees directly below your hips. You can have your toes pointed back behind you. You could also load your toes underneath if you needed to. Depends on what's more comfortable for you. Our first exercise is really well known in the yoga world. We call it cat and cow. It's just flexion and extension of the spine with some assisting positions throughout the rest of your body. So I'm gonna have Risa go into the cat first, which is like a Halloween cat, where she's gonna round her back up to the ceiling. She's gonna tuck her chin into her chest and tuck her tailbone underneath, squeezing her abdominals, spreading her shoulder blades apart. Just gonna hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then she's gonna take it into extension of the spine, dropping her sternum to the floor, popping her tailbone back, and looking her head up toward the wall in front of her, squeezing the shoulder blades. We call that the cow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's take it back into the cat, reaching that middle back up to the ceiling, spreading the shoulder blades apart, almost pushing the hands into the ground to assist, tucking the tailbone and tucking the chin. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly back into extension in the cow, popping the tailbone out, or popping that booty up, looking forward, squeezing the shoulder blades. Obviously, with your spine, you have to be cautious, know your limitations. You're not trying to force the spine into ranges of motion that hurt. Very good. Let's go back into the cat one last time. You're just taking it through what you can do safely and manageably, and getting a little additional stretch maybe in the shoulder blades or the lower back. Spine flexion in the cat. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, and spine extension in the cow. Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Now we'll take it into what we call a child's pose. I'm gonna have her bring her knees further apart and point her big toes in toward each other. So separate those knees a bit more. Have your toes pointed back behind you and toes pointed toward each other. So bring them together. There we go. So she's got that triangle position of the lower leg. She's going to sit back on her ankles as much as she can. She's got great flexibility in the ankles and the thighs, so she can sit all the way back, heels to butt. And you're going to drop your forehead to the floor. And yeah, if you can reach your arms overhead like that. Show them a modified version where they bring their arms back a little further, back behind you, or back, just drop your head down without reaching overhead. Drop your head down and move your arms here. Thank you. Drop all the way down. Good, just like that. You can even use your hands as a rest for your forehead there. But if you have the mobility for your upper body, then you can go into that overhead reach that she showed you. Go ahead and show them the overhead reach again. Reach overhead and hold that position. This is a great time to practice that mindful breathing again. The more you can breathe in, but keeping your core engaged, the more you're going to feel that chest expand and those rib cage muscles open up, especially when you've involved the muscles surrounding that area. Very good. Nice deep breath in and exhale and come out of it. So those are our all fours positions. Let's go ahead and take it onto our back. It's what we call supine position, lying down on your back. We're going to start with a simple knee hug. I want you to bring both knees up and in and give it a nice tight hug. Now she's pulled them up together in the midline. Let's hold it just like that. Toes are loaded up just to give you a little extra boost. You could actually hug it if you wanted. You could grab behind your knee if you needed to. This is going to help to alleviate some pressure from your lower lumbar spine. It's going to bring you into a flatter pelvis or a more neutral pelvis. But it's also going to take it past that and start loading those hips, glutes, groin, hamstrings, even your thighs in the front are getting a little bit here. Good, let's show them a version where they can separate those hands a little, or separate those legs and pull out toward the armpits a little more. Just like that. Very simply, you would open the legs up and pull in and give it another hold. You're gonna get more groin stretch here. You're gonna just hit a slight variation of the one we just did there. Slightly different angles, hit different fibers through those muscle bellies. 5, 4, another good one to practice that breathing. Controlling your core, but breathing through those muscles of the rib cage and your diaphragm. You can rest. Okay, now we're gonna go into the figure 4. So set both feet down. We'll cross our left ankle over onto our right thigh, just below the knee. I'm gonna show you 2 versions of this. Your introductory version is this. If this is enough of a stretch for you, then you're gonna stop there. The first version, or first progression, is to push away with the same side hand. So I'll have you push that knee out and away and hold. So you can just try to relax and breathe calmly as you stretch that back hip. And then when you push away, you're gonna open up the groin as well, involving external rotators and internal rotators in this stretch. Hold for another 12 seconds. Maintain that stretch the entire time. You don't want it to dull out and feel easy. You gotta give yourself a little bit of that subjective feeling of the tissue lengthening. Good. Let's show them the other version where you're gonna reach your opposite hand over the top of the knee and pull down to the middle of the chest. So just like that, you're gonna load in, and now you're gonna feel much more through that backside glute. Pulling down and in, begin. And you're trying to keep your hips flat on the ground. Even though she's pulling that one butt cheek up a little bit, she's trying to keep her pelvis square so that it's the leg coming across the body, and that soft tissue is then allowed to stretch out there in the tushy. If she were twisting with it, it would be turning through the spine, and you would be changing that stretch to more of the muscles around the spine. Good, rest. Other leg, same thing. We'll cross the right ankle over. And we're gonna press away with the same side hand. Ready? Begin. Again, you should feel these stretches, and you may feel a difference side to side. I want you to push it hard enough. If you're not feeling that push, just go ahead and pull on into it. Find the variation that's appropriate for you to feel the stretch. In this first version, we're going to feel more through that front of the hip capsule. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take the left hand over the top and pull down to the middle of the chest, but without turning those hips. Begin. We want to find that position that's slightly uncomfortable, or a mild discomfort is the terminology that we use. Gotta find that stretch and maintain it. You'll feel side to side maybe different. One, you may be able to tug on and pull on pretty hard and you barely get a stretch, while the other one, you barely cross it and you'll feel that stretch right away. That's pretty common to have a tight hip and a looser hip. Let's go ahead and rest there. Now we're gonna go into our overhead strap stretches. So you'll grab your strap for the first time. You're gonna stay on your back there. Bend your knees, feet are flat. I'm gonna have you grab a hold of this, feet are flat on the ground. Grab a hold of this strap, bend your knees, feet are flat. And then we're up at a wide angle now. So the first thing you're gonna do is simply let it fall back to the ground behind you. Overhead strap stretch. And we're just letting gravity do the work. Now, if this is too easy, let's bring it back up. Readjust, find something in the width. So narrow your hands more if that was not giving you a stretch overhead. If it was too much of a stretch and you weren't able to reach the ground behind you, then you need to go wider. All right, so find the width that you can achieve a full stretch overhead to the floor behind you. Want to let it relax in that stretch. Begin. Now this one is very, very detailed in how you want to hold the stretch. We need to make sure that our shoulder blades are down and away from our ears. When you come up overhead, it can't be a big jam up of your shoulders. They have to stay down and away from the ears. And then we also are trying to keep our rib cage pulled in somewhat. So we're not allowing that middle back to arch to the ceiling too far. This should provide a pretty big stretch through the back of the shoulder blades across your upper back, and then through the underarms and your latissimus and other various muscles in the underarm. You can go ahead and rest. Now we're going into the hamstring stretches. So let's go up into our left hamstring. Right hamstring's fine. Right hamstring will go. We're going with a softly bent knee. Right about here, just a light bend in the knee. Toes pulled to the nose. Nice straight angle of the toes to knee to hip. Up to the nose, and you're gonna pull on it and assist that strap stretch with your arms. Now, she's got her arms up off the ground. Once she figures out where she needs to be in that strap stretch, we'll begin now. She can also work her hands down and relax her arms on the ground. So work your hands back on that strap and relax your arms on the ground so things are a bit more relaxed in that hamstring stretch. Now that thing that I was talking about, that uncomfortable feeling, the hamstring stretch is notorious for that. You're gonna get a lot, especially when you pull those toes back, you're gonna get a lot of back of the knee, through the back of the thigh, up all the way to the foot of your butt. You can rest, but you didn't know you had a foot of your butt. We're gonna keep it on the same side. Take the straps into the same side hand, and we're gonna target a groin stretch now. So keep it up. You can soften your knee. Yep. With the groin stretch, you're going to drop away from the midline of the body, and you're going to maintain the tension through the band. Go ahead, let it fall away from the midline, out to the side. And you're going to find that groin stretch now. It may come all the way to the ground. You may need to reposition. You may not get to the ground whatsoever. The big key here, clock is running, go ahead and begin. The big key here is, again, trying to maintain some activity through your pelvis. We can't just let it flip and flop around. If you're dropping that right leg and your left hip is all turning throughout that, again, you're going to get more back and other parts of your body involved. So you have to remain active. Stretching is challenging. It takes good strength, it takes good focus, and good mindfulness, along with that stretching and that discomfort that comes with it. Bring it back to the top. Go ahead and switch legs. Easy way to switch legs. Hold on, stay up here. There you go, good. You just slide the other foot in, so you don't have to lasso your foot again. All right, so we'll start with that softly bent knee hamstring stretch. Now, here we can see slight tightness, deviation, and Rice has formed something in this hamstring. Doesn't want her foot to be flat. So it makes it a little bit tougher for her to keep a flat foot. That's pretty common. I deal with those things too from time to time. We want to look at the knee angle. The toes should be pointed through the knee, through the hip, and right up. Clock's been running. If you haven't started, go ahead. And we feel that tight tension all the way through the belly of the hamstring, into the knee, and up into the hip. Just hold and breathe, especially when it gets more and more uncomfortable. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The straps go into the same side hand. And we're going to open the thigh away from the midline of the body, bracing through the core. See how she places this arm out to her side more. That gives her more of a leverage back, or more weight back, so that she can open that hip to the opposite side. Keep it going. Clock has started. We're going 30 seconds again, 30 seconds of each stretch. If you find out that you're pretty tight in an area, you can double up those stretches. Recommendations are to eventually accumulate up to 60 seconds of stretching for every major muscle group. Good. Bring it back to the top. Now we can go on to our sideline position. We're going to keep our strap with us. I want you to lie facing the camera first. Our sideline position is going to look like we're sitting in a chair a little bit. So we'll have our knees up here and our feet right here. This is where the pillow comes in handy too. Give yourself some support so that your neck's not jammed, or your head's not jammed into your shoulder, crinking up your neck. Okay, so we want to still have a nice straight spine here. First thing we're going to do is the assisted assisted quad stretch. Sorry. So she's going to grab her straps by the end here. She'll loop it around one foot there, pull it tight. Then you're going to take it over your shoulder and bring it back around behind you. So right there, boom. Holding that stretch as passively or as relaxed as you can. It's important not to arch your back. We can't push our belly through here. We want to push through the hip forward and pull into a quad stretch. It may come all the way up high quad and hip flexor, or depending on where you're tight and where you carry your tension, you may feel it down toward the knee in the lower quad and toward the patella. Keeping it right there. Kneecap. The patellar tendon is really notoriously tight, so most of us may feel this more right here and in the kneecap. But we want to try to squeeze that glute, pushing forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's show them from the back side on this one, so I'll have you turn facing this way. We'll do the same thing, other side. I want you to see that she's not arching her back. When she reaches this around, a lot of folks are going to go and really arch like a ballerina with it. I can't have you doing that, especially if you have lower back issues. Okay, so we're right here. It is a little bit funky to get in this position. This is one of the more risky stretches because it does, if you're not mindful about your back, you could run a risk of hyperextending or just extending too far. So again, she's got great alignment here. Her heel's right in the middle of her butt, and she's pushing that hip up toward the wall. That pelvis extends, not her back. Hold that. Clock has started. Go ahead and begin. The quadriceps, along with the chest, the calves, some of the most tonic or hyperactive muscles that we have in the body. So the quadriceps and hip flexors are extremely important to find some way to safely stretch them out multiple times a day sometimes, especially if you're a desk jockey or a driver or anyone in a seated position all day. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, from this sideline position, since she's on this side, we'll start here. I'll take the strap. You're done with your straps now, and set those off to the side, and we're going to go into an open book stretch. One of my favorite stretches, a nice relaxing stretch for rotation of the spine as well as shoulder mobility and good mindfulness through that torso and rotation. So again, rotation of the spine. If you have history of issues in your back tissues, then you move at your own range of motion. I'm going to have Raisa reach her hands out in front, one hand over the top directly at shoulder height, and she's going to rotate that top hand back as far as she can turn, slowly rotating. Her eyes are going to follow in with her hand, and we're going to hold that open book position for 30 seconds. Now, the higher you can pull your knees, the better the weight transfer to the front, the more leverage you have to turn against here. You can even advance that a little more and take that top leg and extend it a bit. 10 seconds more. Control your breathing, especially in these really restricted high rotation or high degree of rotation through the spine and rib cage movements. Very good. Close the book. Let's work our way on to the other side. We're almost done here. It's our last stretch of the series before we go into some nice mindful breathing. Same thing, opposite side. Ready, set, begin. Open up. And we'll wait till she's in the stretch here. It's all right, you can bend your elbow a little bit. It'll be fine. There we go. Good. Very good. So from this angle, you can see the nice 90-degree angles we're looking for. 90 degrees at the knees, 90 degrees at the hips, and 90 degrees at the shoulders and spine. Hold that. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. And have you lie on your back, use your pillow just to stay nice and comfortable. When you're transitioning positions, especially after having done a big stretch, take your time. Your body's adjusting to those ranges of motion that you put it through. Don't just roll over real quick and ballistically. You got to be careful with it. We're going to go through some deep breathing drills now. I want you to just close your eyes on your back, find a relaxed position. If you like your legs straight, that's fine. If you like them bent, that's fine. Put your hands on your belly, right here below where the rib cage comes apart, so your high abdomen. We're going to use imagery here to help you focus your mind as I talk you through some breathing. So the most basic way we can do this is just imagine a circle, or a sun maybe. Imagine that circle. You could also use any shape. You could use a rose is a common one I like to have people picture, a basketball, something very simplistic that you can keep in your mind and try to focus your mind on that image. So when you have your image, close your eyes and begin to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In the nose, out the mouth. I want you to extend that breath a little bit. Expand your rib cage a bit more. Deeper breathing. And I want you to feel your hands rise through your belly. As you inhale, and collapse as you exhale. In and out, get that belly movement. Feel your rib cage expand. Continue expanding that breath in a nice calm manner. Don't hold your breath, just in and out in a nice fluid flowing motion. But keep your mind on that image. Every time it wanders, every time you think about things that you have on your plate today, bring it back to that image. Try to picture it. Try to see it with your eyes, in your mind. Deep breath in. Smooth exhale out. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. Give me one more deep breath in and I want you to hold it. Bring it in, hold, and exhale forcefully. Blow it out, 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 and in. And take yourself back into a regular breathing pattern. You can open your eyes, you can kind of wiggle around, move your fingers and toes, rock your knees side to side. Best way to get up from this is to roll onto your side. Push yourself up with that top hand into a seated position. And you're done. Thanks again for joining us. That's a head to toe, full body stretching routine. Should be nice and calm and relaxed, feeling extra mobile. And now your body is safe and really ready to get back to your daily activities.